Hey TK, it's time for us to work on handwriting and phonics. Today we have two objectives. Our first, we're going to be doing our word sort, and our second is that you are also going to take your Z test today. So we've got two things going on. Let's go over our objective and get started. Objective is what we are going to learn. I can sort words that do and do not begin with Z. So today we're going to be doing our letter sort to begin, and then our second objective is I can write, say the sound of, and name things that begin with Z. So that's for your letter test. So after you finish your word sort, you're going to go right into your letter test. So make sure while you're doing your word sort, you're thinking about how do I write Z, and how do I say the Z sound, and what are some of these words that are beginning with Z. So go ahead and come join me at the screen and we'll begin with our sort, and then you'll be off to do your letter test. Our last time doing the letter Z song and our last letter song. Let's all do it together. Make a zigzag Z, everyone. Make a zigzag line till it's done. Make a zigzag Z, everyone. Make a zigzag line till it's done. Zoom, golly, 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 zoom, golly, golly, zoom, golly, 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 zoom, golly, golly, zoom. Make a zigzag Z, everyone. Make a zigzag line till it's done. Make a zigzag Z, everyone. Make a zigzag line till it's done. Zoom, golly, 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 zoom, golly, golly, zoom, golly, 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 zoom, golly, golly, zoom. Z. Yay! Z! That's letter Z, and there's all of our letter songs. Great job, you guys. We finished them all. We're at the very end. Nice work. All right, so here we are with our letter Z sort. So we're going to begin with writing our name and tracing our Z's, and then we're going to cut along the bottom here to get our words out that we are going to be sorting. Let's remind ourselves that we're looking for words that start with the Z sound at the beginning of them. That's the sound that letter Z makes. Z, z, z. So let's begin with our zebra. Z, z, zebra. Does zebra begin with Z? Yes, it does. Z, z, zebra has the Z sound at the beginning of the word. So I would be cutting that out and pasting it to my top line there that shows me it begins with Z. But I'm just going to write a Z on it so that I know. And there is my Z to show me that it begins with Z. Let's move on to our next picture here, which is a bee, a bumblebee. Bee. Does bee begin with the Z sound? It does not. It does not begin with the Z sound. It begins with a letter B sound. So I'm just going to go ahead and put an X over my B. It does not begin with Z, and we can move on to our next one. You guys will be cutting it out and putting that on our bottom row here. Let's look at our next one, which shows us the number 0. Zero. Does 0 begin with letter Z? It does. Zero begins with the Z sound. So I'm going to write a Z on my 0 here to show me, that it begins with Z. Try that again. There we go. And now I know that I would put my 0 in my top row. Let's go on to our last picture here in our top. Volcano. Volcano. Does volcano begin with the Z sound? It does not. It begins with a V sound. There are different sounds there. So volcano would go in our bottom row. I'm going to put an X on it because it does not begin with Z. Oh, that was kind of a silly X. Try again. There we go. Let's move on to our bottom row of words here. We're going to start down here on the bottom left side with our zipper. Zipper. Does zipper begin with Z? It sure does. Zipper. I'm going to put a Z on my zipper there, and we would be putting our zipper in our top row. Our next one here is a lizard. Lizard. Does lizard begin with Z? It does not. It begins with an L. Lizard. So we're going to put an X on it, and it would go on our second row there of things that do not begin with Z. Let's move on to our zoo. Zoo. Does zoo begin with Z? It sure does. Zoo begins with Z. So I'm going to put a Z on it. Ooh. And it would go onto our top row there. Why did my Z turn into a wonky line? There we go. So it would go in my top row. Last one, lamp. Lamp. Does lamp begin with Z? No, it doesn't. What letter does it begin with? Letter L for lamp. So that's going to go to our bottom row. And that concludes our letter sort. So we're sorting today, but you also are taking your Z test today. Our final letter test, you guys. I'm so excited for you to be all done with your letters. Now that you're all done with your letters, we can move on to putting them together and reading words. How exciting is that? So you guys are going to ace this test. It's going to be awesome. You're going to show me writing, making the sound of, and saying words that begin with Z. And that'll be it for all of our letters. Awesome job. I'm so proud of how hard you have all worked on your letters this year. Nice work, TK.